Hey everyone, Nancy here from New Travel Escapes. Today we're diving into the southern coast of Mexico for an in-depth look at Secrets Huatulco, nestled in the stunning Oaxacan region. This is actually our third time vacationing at Secrets Huatulco with a solid 4.6 out of 5 on Google reviews and 8.8 out of 10 on Expedia. It's known as one of the standout resorts in this area. Located south of Oaxaca in the vibrant community of Huatulco, Secrets Huatulco sits right on the beautiful bay Bahia de Conejos, a picturesque slice of the Pacific coast. First, a quick note. As always, we pay for our own trips, and we're not here to sell you anything. Our goal is simple, to share with you what our stay was like in order to help you decide if a resort is really worth those hard-earned vacation dollars. We don't get compensated by the resorts, so our reviews are unbiased, based solely on our experiences. So with that being said, let's get into it. The Huatulco area is unique, refreshingly non-commercial compared to, say, Cancun, which is our usual go-to destination. Here, things move a little more slowly, the vibe is more relaxed, and yes, it is the land of mezcal. Secrets Huatulco is known for being the luxury adults-only resort in this area. In fact, as far as I know, it's the only adult-only option here, so it stands out as the prime choice for a romantic or relaxing getaway. Once you land, getting to the resort is pretty straightforward. It's a short 25-minute drive from Huatulco Airport. The airport itself is small, so while it's usually a breeze to get through, if more than one plane has come in, it may take a bit longer. But overall, it's manageable and far from overwhelming. We're making a separate video all about the Huatulco Airport, so we'll tell you the transfer companies that we prefer and also how and where to grab a cab, if that's your preference. So have a look at that one if you're planning your next trip here. For this trip, we arranged private transfers in advance, which made things seamless. Since our plane was the only one arriving at the time, we were able to grab our bags, find our driver, and get to the resort in about 40 minutes. Just FYI, the guests who choose to use the included vacation package transfers took a couple of hours to arrive at the resort, as you'll need to stop and drop people off at different resorts along the way. It takes a little longer, but it will get you there, and you'll be able to see a bit of the surrounding area and what some of the other resorts look like. So let's dive into what makes Secrets Huatulco special, and whether or not it might be the right choice for your next vacation. The lobby at Secrets Huatulco is open air, adding to the relaxed tropical vibe. While it can get hot, especially if there's not much breeze, the space, while simple, is undeniably beautiful. One standout feature is the stunning stained glass artwork near the ceiling, definitely worth a look. The furniture in the lobby needs some TLC as it's showing signs of wear and tear, and honestly, I can say that that is true for the entire resort. Check-in was smooth overall. The bellhops were right there to help with our luggage and gave us claim tickets to hold on to, which are important not to misplace. Now, if you, like me, are prone to misplacing those little tickets, I suggest you snap a quick pic of it just in case. I have learned that one the hard way. At check-in, they take a copy of your passport, and there's a little paperwork, but no wristbands or towel cards are required. Instead, you'll get an electronic key card. One thing to note, they do try to invite you to a timeshare presentation over breakfast. While we didn't find the timeshare offer financially compelling, we can never actually figure out how buyers make that math work, but maybe your experience varies. It's not something we're interested in, but if you do go, be prepared that it's very aggressive. Interestingly, they didn't place a hold on our credit card for incidentals, which is a bit different from our usual experiences. We were offered a welcome drink of choice from the Rendezvous bar while checking in, and some guests also received a cool towel. We didn't, though it's not as organized as expected. We arrived around 1:30 p.m., but since rooms aren't typically ready until 3 p.m., they held our bags while we grabbed lunch from our favorite lunch spot in past trips. We soaked in the resort's incredible views, and this is a big part of why we keep coming back. As you saw from the images from the plane, Secrets Huatulco is built into the hillside leading down to the ocean, with the check-in area at the resort's higher point, and this setup really maximizes the views pretty much anywhere you're walking around the resort. The resort is easy to navigate with 6 buildings spread across the property. The layout makes it simple to get familiar with, so you'll quickly know your way around. The resort is also small dog friendly with a cute leash-free zone off to the side of the resort. We only saw one fur baby traveling with her people during this stay, but if that is something you want to do, this is a good resort option. For accessibility, there are elevators to reach different buildings, and while the resort is wheelchair accessible, the ramp leading to the beach is steep in some sections. Let's just say you'll need to channel your inner Checo Perez for the trek. The pools are arranged in a unique setup, all in a row but at different levels, creating a lovely terraced look. During our November visit, pool temperatures were just right, refreshing without being cold. Since the weather here hovers between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius or 85 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit during the fall and winter months, there's rarely a need for pool heat, but the manager did tell me that the pools are climate controlled when they need it. However, the pools do have some serious wear and tear. While they're kept pretty clean, a fair number of tiles are broken or missing, which can create sharp edges. So keep an eye out for those areas when you're swimming or getting in and out of the pool. In my opinion, the pool needs a complete overhaul where the tiles are concerned. My husband cut both his finger and his foot on day 1 on broken pool tiles. This pool area of the resort adds so much character from its design to the views, but we hope maintenance issues get addressed very soon to ensure a safer and more enjoyable experience. The main activity pool at Secrets Huatulco is the hub for daily events and socializing, with a swim-up bar at the heart of the action. Aquafit, pool volleyball, and music happen right here, creating a lively atmosphere for those who enjoy getting involved in activities. For anyone wanting to keep track of what's happening, the full schedule of activities is listed on the resort app. If peace and quiet is more your style, head up to the upper pools known as the Quiet Zone. These pools are perfect for relaxing, reading, or even borrowing a book from the small lending library, which offers selections in both Spanish and English. You'll find drink service around all the pools with attentive servers bringing refreshing beverages right to your chair. The pools attached to the swim-up suite categories are separate from the main pools, and they run along the lower 2 buildings as well as one that's higher up in the resort. During our visit, occupancy was around 60%, so finding pool chairs wasn't an issue most days. However, during the holiday weekend with more guests on site, it became a bit competitive to snag a chair poolside in the shade. While the resort has added more chairs and umbrellas since our last visit, it still may not be enough on busy days, and I expect that for many weeks during the travel season, the chair game will be somewhat fierce here. During our last 2 trips, the chair game was fierce. Towels are conveniently located near the elevators, and there's no need to sign them out. The lounge chairs are comfy, and the resort is gradually replacing the older umbrellas, so they're generally in good shape. Facilities around the pool are well thought out, with washrooms located at 3 points near the lending library, by the elevators, and down by the pickleball and archery areas. For my floating aficionados, note that there are no pool floats provided here, so feel free to bring your own if you want to relax on the water. Between the pools, you'll find the Barefoot Grill, an outdoor lunch spot that serves up classics like burgers, nachos, and wings, perfect for a quick bite without straying too far from the water. One major perk here is the Wi-Fi. Secrets upgraded the Wi-Fi a couple of years ago across this resort and the neighboring Dreams property, so it works reliably well throughout the entire property, including the pool areas and even to the beach chairs. If you have some work to do while you're on vacation, the Wi-Fi is consistent and we found it very reliable. Just beyond the center of the pool area, you'll find the entrance to the beach. Now just let me tell you, the beach here is stunning. It's spacious with some shaded seating options under the palapas, making it a lovely spot to unwind and enjoy those views. The sand here is a bit on the coarse side, not that white powder you might be expecting. When the afternoon sun beats down, it turns into a fiery challenge for bare feet. If you're heading for a swim, think Baywatch, just without the slow motion, and dash to the water like your souls are on the line. For peaceful beach walks, mornings are your best bet. By afternoon, the sand is muy caliente and better suited for roasting marshmallows than for a stroll. Despite the relatively remote location, there are a few beach vendors around selling everything from sunglasses to jewelry and even excursions. Personally, I'm not a big fan of beach vendors, but they weren't pushy at all. If you're in the mood for a fishing trip, snorkeling adventure, or a tour of the 7 bays, then you can negotiate with the locals for pricing right here on the beach, if that's your thing. As for the ocean, swimming is a bit tricky here. Unlike at Dreams, the water drops off sharply and strong undertows can sometimes make it unsafe to swim. There's a lifeguard on duty, and the calmest spot for a dip is at the far end of the beach, where the rocks help break up the waves. We brought our own masks and snorkels and spent some time exploring the underwater world near the rocks, which was really fun. One of the best parts of the beach is the peaceful morning walks, and you can even take a path through the bush at the end of the beach that leads to a completely deserted bay. I felt like I was on a pirate adventure with my inner Jack Sparrow, minus the rum. You'll be leaving the resort property, so do this at your own risk. The resort offers a kayak tour, which I highly recommend. There's an awesome way to experience the water while getting an up-close view of the stunning surroundings. They also offer sailing lessons, which are a great option if you want to try something new, and again, the views during these activities are incredible. There are half a dozen or so bally beds that you can reserve for the day for an extra charge. I think it was around $100 USD. However, I don't see the appeal. I never saw anyone using them during our week-long stay, and with plenty of seating options elsewhere, it didn't seem worth the money to me. But perhaps if the resort were at full capacity, they might be more desirable for securing a spot in the shade, but it's not something I'd personally choose to do. Up on the hill, you'll find both the spa and the gym, and let me just say, the views over the bay are stunning again. If you're the type of person who likes to work out while on vacation, this is a pretty special spot to do it. You'll get to enjoy the gorgeous scenery while breaking a sweat. As for the spa, we didn't end up using it. The prices were a bit steep for us. It's undeniably beautiful, and if you're curious, the spa menu is available on the resort app, so you can check out the offerings and decide if it fits into your vacation plans. The grounds of the resort are well maintained. The team here really puts in the effort to keep everything looking pristine while still being mindful of the environment, which is always really nice to see. One thing I should mention, because the resort is built into a hill, there are elevators with glass walls that take you from the lobby and restaurant down to the rooms and pool areas. It's a fun ride with, again, beautiful views, but I'll tell you, our first 2 trips here, those elevators were not air conditioned. And if you've ever ridden in an elevator without AC in a hot climate, it's a sweaty experience. Thankfully, they've added air conditioning to the elevators. It's kind of a game changer. Although they weren't always working perfectly, they were definitely working more often than not. And it made a huge difference in riding those elevators. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's really not when you're there. Those former sweat boxes are now much more bearable, thank goodness. While we're on the topic of rooms, let me show you one of the suites. Secrets Huatulco has just shy of 400 suites spread out across 6 different categories. One nice thing is that you have the option to book a suite with either 2 doubles or a king bed, which can really be helpful depending on who you're traveling with. The rooms, like the pool area, are definitely in need of an upgrade and some TLC. You can see a fair bit of wear and tear here and there, but despite that, they were clean and comfortable, and they certainly did the job. During our stay, they were renovating the swim-up suites in Building 5, but I'm not sure what their plans are for the other suites. Hopefully, this is the start of all of the rooms being upgraded. The air conditioning worked really well, which was a relief. There's also a ceiling fan, and the bed was firm but still comfortable. The linens were decent, not as luxurious as at some other Secrets resorts, but comfortable enough for a good night's sleep. We also find that the pillow selection was something we definitely needed to adjust. In our suite, the pillows were lumpy and really needed replacing. We both woke up from our first night with a bad headache from the pillows, so we used the app to request orthopedic pillows, which were much better. The mini fridge is pretty basic, no snacks unless you book preferred, but the toiletries were Pharmacopoeia, which are the same ones they use at Hyatt Vivid Grand Island. I think Secrets and Hyatt are transferring everything to Pharmacopoeia. I assume this is just going to become the new standard. They were fine, and honestly, I wouldn't feel the need to bring my own. They also provided some extras like a sewing kit and a vanity kit, and if you forgot anything like a toothbrush or a razor, you can request it directly through the app. The balconies are basic. Honestly, they're a bit too basic for my liking, with just 2 chairs and a small table. They're not big enough for anything else, though. What's nice is that there's a chaise-style love seat and a coffee table for some extra space to relax in the suite. There's plenty of storage inside as well, and there's a desk area. Now let's talk about the bathroom situation. The shower and bathtub are side by side with both a handheld and a rainfall shower head. The wall separating the shower and tub from the main bedroom area can be moved for privacy, or you can leave it open. The toilet is separated behind frosted glass, but here's the thing. It's not fully private. Yes, it's separated from the rest of the room, but it's not private from the front door. So a little heads up, make sure the door is bolted so you're not interrupted by housekeeping or the mini fridge refill person. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute, and you can do with that information what you will. Some buildings have much better views than others, and some swim-up suites are better located too. The hot tub rooms have some quirks. I'm going to be making a separate video to go into more details about the different suite options and give you some tips on which building to request. There's one building I particularly dislike, and I'll share with you why I choose to avoid it. Housekeeping and turn-down service were very good, but I did notice that sometimes we needed to request it through the app. It's actually a really easy process and a handy feature. If you know you have had a long day floating in the pool and you want an early night, just request turn-down service while you're heading to dinner, and it will be done when you're ready to call it a day. We didn't opt for the preferred club. In all honesty, you get very little extra for the additional money. Unless you're booking it specifically for a swim-up room or a one-bedroom suite, I personally don't recommend it. The preferred club lounge is lackluster, the a la carte breakfast is just okay, and the in-room snacks aren't worth the price, in my opinion. We didn't meet anyone who upgraded to the preferred club who thought it was worth it. They did book it though because it's the only way to get a swim-up room or a one-bedroom suite. So do with that whatever you will. Be sure to download the resort app before you arrive. It can be a bit glitchy, but it has a lot of useful info on it to help plan your week, and it makes requesting things like room service or extra amenities super convenient. The daily activities and nightly shows are all listed on the app, along with which restaurants are open for dinner and which nights they have themed dining events around the pool. Now, let's dive into the dining options at Secrets Huatulco. There are 8 restaurants, a coffee shop, and 6 bars to choose from. Oceana is seafood. Castaways is a steakhouse. It's open for dinner and a really nice a la carte lunch. Tamarindo is Mexican. Bordeaux is French. Spice is Asian. Sinsin is Italian. Barefoot Grill is the poolside lunch spot. The Market Cafe is the resort's buffet restaurant. Coco Cafe is their coffee shop. And for the bars, they have the Rendezvous Bar in the lobby, the Sky Bar, Barracuda Bar, and the Marlin are 2 sides of the same bar in the main activities pool. Showtime is the theater bar, and the Sugar Reef Bar is got gorgeous views, but this one I've actually never seen open in all 3 of our trips. It could be such a special spot for evening events, and I don't know why they never use it. I've just never seen it in use. I'll be doing a deep dive into all of the restaurants, their menus, and sharing pictures of some of the dishes in a separate video. But the quick rundown on the food and beverage scene at Secrets Huatulco is that it's just okay. We had a couple of standout dishes, but we also had several that were frankly inedible. As foodies who take dining seriously, especially when we've already paid for it as part of an all-inclusive package, we try to be objective. But I do want to be honest with you so that you can set your expectations. Secrets Huatulco, being one of the more affordable Secrets properties, doesn't deliver the same level of culinary excellence as a place like Secrets Maroma or Secrets Moshe, and that is just the reality. The food here is not the main reason you'd come to this resort. If you've ever been to other Secrets resorts, you just need to adjust your expectations. The food isn't as high-end, the chefs are not as skilled, and the quality isn't as elevated as you may expect. My advice is adjust those expectations based on the budget and know that the food is okay. It isn't anything special, nor is it consistent, and you may find yourself ordering a second main if the first just isn't to your taste, but you can certainly do that. You're not going to go hungry, but you're not going to be wowed by anything either. We had very few standout dishes, but I will get into all of that nitty-gritty and those details about the restaurants in a separate video as promised. But for now, just know the food is decent, but not stellar. Something to keep in mind if dining is a big part of your vacation experience. Now, the resort staff, they absolutely shine here. English is not commonly spoken in this area of Mexico, so knowing a little basic Spanish does go a long way. But don't worry, if you can't speak Spanish, the staff will still try their best in English, and they're incredibly kind and very helpful. Google Translate can also be a lifesaver. The staff is where this resort far surpasses many others, and they are exceptional. There's a cool activity that my husband insists I share with you, and that is the mezcal tasting. He enjoys mezcal and tequila and thought he would enjoy learning a little bit more about how it is made. And long story short is that he was really impressed with the whole experience. His mezcalier was Ingrid, and I don't often recommend spending money on extras at a resort, but he says it was well worth the $30 he spent. And if you happen to buy your favorite bottle, then you don't pay for the tasting experience. I'll say it again, Secrets Huatulco is a charming resort that really grows on you the longer you're there. When we arrived for our 3rd trip, we thought the resort looked a little rough around the edges and worn out. Our first impression was that it needed some TLC, which it definitely does. But as we spent more time here, we realized it's the staff and the resort's location that make it really special. Despite its flaws, after just a few days, we were already planning our next trip. It's not luxury. It's not a standout in the Secrets lineup, and it certainly isn't the belle of the ball, but it's a pleasant, charming place with fantastic staff that makes it easy to overlook its imperfections. After some time, it grows on you in absolutely the best way. And for the food and drinks, well, they're not exceptional, as I said, but they're certainly fine. You won't go hungry, but the resort's location is what really brings us back time and time again. And those unique views, if you're looking for something more authentically Mexican than the commercialized spots like Cancun or Puerto Vallarta, Huatulco is definitely worth considering. Secrets Huatulco is perfect for couples, extended adult family groups, and groups of friends. It's not a super romantic place though. There's not much in the way of intimate couples-focused experiences. That said, it has a relaxing vibe that's perfect for unwinding with family and friends. On average, the guest ratios here are about 40% Mexican, 40% Canadian, and 20% American. It's actually a bit tricky for Americans to fly into Huatulco, and I have no idea why. But if you're on the West Coast or near New York or Michigan, consider flying into Vancouver, Calgary, or Toronto, and then grabbing a direct flight from there. We spoke to a lovely couple from Oregon who had a challenging time with connections, and it took them 2 travel days to get there. They said they'll be taking a puddle jumper to the closest Canadian major city next time and then going direct to avoid the long travel days. I just thought I'd share that tip for my American friends. At first glance, it might seem difficult to get to Huatulco, but if you check outside the box, you might find a good option. All in all, we really enjoyed our stay at Secrets Huatulco and are already planning our next trip. Is it a luxury 5-star property? No, not really. It's a solid 3-star resort masquerading as a 5-star, but you know what? We weren't upset by that. The resort's charming, and the longer you stay, the more you'll appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It's free for you, and it helps me a lot. Also, share it with anyone who might be interested in a resort like this. Secrets Huatulco is a great option for those looking for an affordable Secrets experience. We're working on the Secrets Huatulco restaurants video and a video breaking down all the different suite options available. We also visited Dreams Huatulco, and we filmed everything over there. If you're traveling with kids under 18, you'll want to hit the notification bell for those videos. Turns out Dreams Huatulco beats Secrets in a couple of categories, so stay tuned for that. Happy vacation planning, everyone. Have a great week. Do something fun for yourself, and we'll be back soon with more new travel escapes.